Hello, my name is Kelvin Kamau. I'm the Managing Director of Tukalime Ventures Limited. I went to 5 high schools, believe it or not. I started off in Jiri High, then I went to Makini, that was all in Form 1. Then I went to Tigoni International. From Tigoni International, I went to Turkish for just a little bit, Turkish Light then. And then I finished in St. Elizabeth Karen. Different experiences. In Jiri School, being a very good school academically, but was a government school, was very different from where I came from in primary school. So I had a hard time fitting in. Makini also very, very good in terms of academic, but because I went there in 3rd term, they wanted me to repeat because by 3rd term, guys were already doing 2nd term Form 2 work. So my dad asked me if I wanted to do that. I was like, no, that's not going to work. Tigoni International was good. They had a change in management. So there was a run on the school. At one time, I think we were only 2 people in class in Form 2. So I changed again. Turkish Light didn't just fit in really. St. Elizabeth Karen is where I finished my Form 4, and it was a great experience, and that's where I also have lifelong friends from that school. To be honest, I envy a lot of people who went to one school throughout, because sometimes I may meet people and our relationship is not as tight just because we didn't do Form 1 to Form 4. There's a thing about growing up from being a boy to a man with your own age mates in terms of Form 1 to Form 4. So if I would go back, I would actually have stuck it out at Njiri and finished Form 4 there. To be honest, an average student. I wasn't the most studious of students, but I did, I tried, but I didn't try my best, to be honest. I could have applied myself better, but I was pretty average. Sports, here and there, books here and there. Maths gave me the most challenge. I didn't understand some of the things that we were learning, especially in 844. I felt like we could have been doing other things. I actually did not get suspended from all the 5 schools I was in. There's only one time I almost got suspended, and it was for, I can't even remember what it was for. I think we went to a funky and then we didn't come back on time or something like that. But then, when just about to be suspended, first parent who showed up, the vita that he got his boy on, the headmaster was just like, no, I've called your parents. After what I've seen, you guys can just go back to class, because that was actually a situation. There's a time we actually snuck into the girls' dorm room, and that time we were hidden by our girlfriends at the time. That was probably the naughtiest thing, not the smartest thing, naughtiest thing, but that one was epic, because that one felt like the Italian job. That one was serious. It was actually a very anticlimax situation. My parents had exposed me to a lot of things starting from primary school. So in terms of the first time I went out to actually like carnival, I think I was in class 7. There are people who may frown upon that, but that for me, I actually demystified the nightlife or what happens and stuff like that, because I was brought up with a good foundation. So those things never really mattered to me. I never had curiosity. So by the time I was clearing 4th and guys were things, I missed that part because the excitement had already diminished. So I always dreamt about being in a skyscraper building, good job, having, being called boss, all these things, but it wasn't a dream career. So I didn't have a calling in high school. My thing was, I just knew I didn't want to struggle. I just wanted to live the good life. As they say, I wanted to live the soft life. I studied economics and finance. Even in high school, I was very good in commerce. So buying and selling of goods and services was always a big thing for me. So that's interesting. I don't know if it comes from being a Kuyo, but it was already an inbuilt thing. So by the time I went to economics was a very easy elevation for me to get onto in terms of higher studies. After I finished fourth, I went to Uganda for 2 years. I did my A-levels there, and then I went to campus in the US. I studied economics and finance in Kansas, and I was there for 10 years. No, I did not go to school for 10 years, but I spent 10 years in the US and came back about five and a half years ago. My first job was in the US, and I was working at the alumni office at the university. And what I was doing basically was calling former students and asking them to donate to the school for special programs, to build a library, to build all this. So that is what I did as a first job. But I think my second job was more interesting because I started working in a group home that had people with developmental disabilities and would help them manage their life. So in terms of in the morning, kuamsha, cook for them breakfast, help them go run groceries. Some of them would have to help them bathe. So it was an interesting job just because I never saw myself doing it, but it also puts it in perspective that it's a blessing to be able to do some of the things that we take for granted. I am a farmer first and foremost, and I actually lead an organization called Tukalime. And Tukalime, what it does, it farms on behalf of people. So what we do is basically run farms on behalf of individuals who don't have the time or the expertise to till their shambas, to manage the farm until the end and even market their produce. So basically us guys are, we can say we are a service provider for would-be farmers or farmers who have come out somewhere. To be honest, I don't have a struggle. I've been blessed to not have a struggle. And also, I believe, as politically correct and as corny as this may sound, I actually value what we do for people. It's more about legacy. I look at myself, I'm like, okay, we are all these individuals in the earth, right? And individuals who are as unique as fingerprints. So what am I leaving back in this earth? If today God was to say your time is done on earth and it's time for you to come on home, what legacy have I left? So for me, that's more of a value proposition than the paycheck, to be honest. The advice I would give my high school self is basically listen a little bit more. You do not know everything. Put a better foundation for yourself. I see a lot of my friends who followed tradition in terms of good grades, finished their 4 years of high school, went on to college, did that in record time. And I envy them because right now they have families and they have all these things that I yearn for. But at the same time, I would never discount the journey that I've gone through because the journey was painful, but it's sweet. I could go anywhere, I could do all these things, but I took a longer journey just because the foundation was not right. So it's not that long of a time to spend.